back and thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to learn about the flute. So the flute is a woodwind instrument, which means it's something that you blow into. How do you blow into a flute? Well, that's pretty simple. You blow across it and you blow across the hole and it makes a sound. If you want to learn how to do it on your own, if you get a pop bottle and then blow into the top, try to get it to make a sound. And when you blow across on it, if you can get a sound, that's kind of what an embouchure, which is kind of how your mouth is supposed to be, would feel like if you're playing the flute. All right, so a flute player is actually called a flautist. And believe it or not, there is a famous flute player out there that some of you might know. His name is Terry Crews, and he is a flute player. So if you're ever curious about a celebrity that plays the flute, check out Terry Crews, because he does play the flute. All right, so some interesting facts about the flute. Well, in 2008, believe it or not, a flute was found in a cave dating back to at least 35,000 years ago in Germany. It was a 5-holed flute and it was V-shaped. It had a V-shaped mouthpiece. So it was a nice straight flute, but it had a V-shaped mouthpiece. And it was made from the wing bone of a vulture. Isn't that cool? The wing bone of a vulture. But I mean, way back then, you didn't have fancy things like metal and ways to shape metal. People just made flutes out of whatever they could find. And honestly, a lot of flutes were made out of bone or wood, just things like that. Nowadays, though, flutes aren't made out of those things, or not commonly anyway. Nowadays, a flute that you would find in an orchestra or a band is made out of metal. So I'm going to show you the flute today. I'm going to show you how to put it together, and you're going to get a chance to hear what a flute sounds like. So this is a flute. It comes in a case. And you'll see it has 3 pieces. So my head joint or neck joint. And it's going to attach here to your middle piece. Now when you put it together, it's actually kind of important where you place it. This hole here, you want it to line up with the keys on the instrument. So right now, I have got this hole lined up to the rest of the keys. And this is important because if you don't have it angled the right way, you might be blowing in the wrong spot and you'll never get the sound you want, okay? And then you take the end joint, which is this little piece, and you stick it on the other end. Now, where you put this is important too, because if you don't put it the right way, your fingers won't be able to reach it all. So you'll see that there's like a little bar here, and you want it to line up with the keys here. Now, once it's actually together, it's really not too difficult to figure out where it is. So once again, 3 pieces, really, really easy to put together. You'll notice that there are lots of keys on it. Don't let that intimidate you. Just because there are lots of buttons doesn't mean that it's necessarily hard to play. The hardest part about the flute, in my opinion, is getting a sound. And some people can get a sound right away, and others, it takes a little bit of effort. But a flute sounds something like this. So a nice, pretty sound. Flutes can be found in orchestras, so if you've ever watched an orchestra play, you definitely see a flute in there. Flutes can be found in marching bands, they can be found in concert bands, and they're also a beautiful solo instrument. So that's the flute. I'm going to play you a little song so you can kind of get a feel for it, and I hope you enjoy it. So there you have it, the flute. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye!